Hey everyone, today I'm going to be taking my RSD Mayor for its first ride. I'm up here in the Thompson Park area. This is just outside of Butte, Montana. It's been built up for a little while now, but I was getting ready for the Butte 50 and riding my timberjack a lot, so I was just, in that mode. And so I'm excited to have a first real ride on this. I've ridden it around a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I have changed something since the initial build. I had some salsa rustlers on there, and I don't know what it was, just something was very uncomfortable for me. I don't know if they had a pretty good amount of back sweep, 11 degrees, and I think just that angle wasn't the most comfortable for me. So these are some 50/50 bars, 780 millimeters wide, which is actually a little on the wide side for me, on this bike at least, and 35 millimeters of rise, just 7 degrees of back sweep. A lot more comfortable though. So I'm excited to get out on this. Let's get going. I'll get to have two first rides, one with this 29 plus wheel set, and then one with the fat bike wheels, which is really what this bike is for. It's a fat bike. I haven't decided on a wheel set yet. It's nice to be back on 29 plus. I haven't really been riding it in probably 6-7 weeks. This frame is a lot less stiff than my timberjack. Oh, here's the bridge. This looks super cool. This will be fun to go over. Wow, this is so cool. Whew. It's like making me nervous for some reason. This is so cool though. Let's stop and take a look. A long way down. With the fork, I feel like when you first get one, you have to go through this little phase of figuring out all the adjustments of the air pressure, the rebound adjust, if you have compression adjustment, adjusting that. And I did have a Bluto before like this, but this is actually the RCT3 model, not the RL. The RL, all you can adjust is the rebound and the air pressure, of course. But this one has low speed compression adjustment. Still trying to figure that out, where I want it for where I ride. Okay, here's one of the tunnels. I thought I was gonna be skipping this, but I guess not. Wish I had brought up my light. Well, I guess my phone will do. This one is 1,100 feet long. Here we go. I'm not gonna show you, but without a light in the middle here, it gets pitch black. There are some little bumps, but for the most part, that trail surface is nice. Oh, I just kept thinking, that'd be a real bummer if there was like a bear or something in here. I'm sure they avoid it because there's so many people. It's a good climber so far. Even in this shortest I can go position for a 29 plus, I could probably go shorter on if I had a smaller fat bike wheel, like a 26x4 or something. But even in this position, and with the slack head angle, I don't feel that front isn't that easy to get up going uphill, which is nice. You want it to feel planted so that you're not having to get your body like all the way forward and fight the bike up steep stuff. Come on, tight switchback. Ah, so close. Did good though. Doesn't feel crazy long. That's what you'll feel around a switchback if your bike is just super long. You gotta have a little more technique, go out wider, or you can be real fancy and hop around it. I like this drivetrain. It's an 11-speed Shimano XT, so it's their last generation of them. On a fat bike, I like running a smaller chain ring up front. So I've got a 28 tooth, and in the back, I've got 11 to 46. Because of that 28 tooth chainring up front, I don't need as big of a cassette. You know, like all the new 12-speed drivetrains that have come out are up to a 50 tooth or 51, 52. That would be insanely slow climbing if you had a 28 tooth chainring. Another thing I'm noticing, and I ride clipless pedals, so it's confusing. Clipless means you are clipped in. When I get into my bad habit of slightly twisting my heel inward, my shoe just barely rubs on the chainstay, even a tiny bit on the seat stay, the upper part of the triangle on the back. It's not bad. It's a tiny bit more noticeable than other fat bikes I've ridden, but you really get used to it on a fat bike if they're like that. And in my experience, basically every fat bike that I've ridden that has a 197 spacing in the rear, you can rub a little bit. So far, I really like this bike. Just so far. I'm mostly excited about the descent. The reason I bought it is it has a pretty aggressive, or modern, more than aggressive, pretty modern geometry for a fat bike. That really makes a difference on descents. Oop. Now we're going down Herman Gulch Trail. I don't think you need the shortest chainstays on a fat bike. And this goes down to 435, but I'm not slammed all the way forward because it wouldn't clear. I'm probably at 440 right now. Maybe a little less than that. I'm not that far back. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, that was no problem. It wasn't crazy, but I wasn't ready for it. Man, 29 plus literally just rolls over everything. It's amazing. This doesn't have the longest reach in the world, but I'm very comfortable. It's not so far out that you have to go with a slammed stem, or a short stem, but you have a little wiggle room in there. This is where I can tell my tire pressure is a little too high. That's part of the reason I'm skidding so bad. This is also good on my brakes because they were kind of seated, or bedded, I mean, but not fully. Whew. This is a fun trip. I'm going to lower my pressure a little. Makes a huge difference on these. Just a little bit of pressure. They hold a lot of air. Man, that back tire is really skidding. The Chronicles on here are getting towards the end of their life, which is a bummer because they don't make them anymore. They don't make a whole lot of 29 by 3 inch tires anymore. Cool. That was fun. I don't know why my rear brake is squealing. It might be that isn't a new rotor. The front is. The rear, I had one just still on that wheel. I like having this climb mode. It's nice to put it in that. Still allows it to absorb bigger hits, but makes it so you can really stand and climb without it bobbing up and down. That was a deliberate thing I searched for, was to not get the RL again, because that one's just either on or locked out, and it doesn't have the low speed compression adjustment. The Mastodon is definitely a more adjustable fork, the Manitou Mastodon, but I discussed this in my other video. It's just, to me, it's a little bit of overkill. It has 34mm stanchions. It's like a pound or more heavier. Not what I needed for the type of rides I have planned for this bike. Like I said, 67-degree head angle, chainstay between 435 and 450. It's adjustable, and the reach isn't super far, but it's still in the 440s or 450s for a large, which isn't that big. But I think it really makes a good all-arounder, which is what you need on a fat bike if you're going to be riding in the dirt and the snow. So I think this is a really good balance on the geometry. Like I said, it's a good seated climber. Maybe I'm just used to my timberjack in the short position where the front end lifts really easy. With these wheels, which are a little heavier and a longer chainstay, it barely lifts on climbs. I mean, it's not hard to get up, but it's not doing it unless I really want it to. It's only 3/4 of a mile to the rail trail, but I think it's fairly steep. So much more playful than the old ice cream truck. I don't know about the new one, but although that one has about the same length chainstays as I have these right now, a little bit longer, but head tube angle is a little steeper on that, and I don't think the reach is as long. Not that I'm just going to compare this to the ice cream truck, it's just that's the last fat bike I had. It ran 29 plus. Yeah, it feels, it doesn't ride like a fat bike or a fat bike with 29 plus wheels. It rides really a lot like a fun trail hardtail. Also gonna have to figure out my brake situation in the back. Not sure why it's doing that. Maybe it's just dirty. So overall, I really like this bike. It's exactly what I wanted. It's aggressive for a fat bike. Would I say this is a bike for getting really rowdy and taking it to the bike park? No, it's not that aggressive, but I don't think that a fat bike ever really needs to be that. That would be cool, I guess, as an experiment, but I don't think it needs to happen. Do I think that if you live somewhere and you like to ride hardtails and then you also get snow and you just want one bike and a different wheel set, or even if you only have one wheel set, would this be a good bike? Absolutely. This is a great balance. We'll see how it goes in the snow and with the fat tires, but I have a feeling it's going to do great there. However, it, with the 29 plus tires, does an incredible job. I think RSD has done a great job, and this is a really fun bike. I feel like for 99%, actually 100% of the riding that I do, I could use this bike on. It might not be the most ideal bike for some of it, some of the really steep stuff and super technical stuff, but it could still definitely do it. So I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What's your dream fat bike, or what bike do you think is kind of a quiver killer, or a bike that you can use for multiple purposes? For me right now, it's definitely this RSD Mayor. Really excited to get my fat wheel set in and test that out. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.